nothing. Here's your ninepence.
Hey, what's better than one bad ending per season? How about two? AHS double feature was so anticlimactic even my girlfriend got blue balls. Just kidding, I don't have a girlfriend. Stephanie, please answer my calls. Now, I debated how to do this video because I have a lot to say, so I'm gonna do my traditional breakdown, add some commentary, and will likely do a separate video unleashing my full rage. But to red tide you over, we still have this last episode, so wipe your tears, click that like and subscribe button, and we'll get through this together. It's President Nixon not really enjoying the increasing protests against the Vietnam War. It's 1972 and the war is already 7 years in, and as we learn from Valiant Thor, the war is all a ruse to distract the American people from all the abductions that have been happening. If you recall back to episode 7, the aliens were wanting 5,000 abductions per year. Nixon hears the bad news that the first functioning hybrid won't be ready until 2021, and in order to keep the American people oblivious to the alien presence, a whole menu of distractions have been prepared. It's implied that things like 9/11, the war in Iraq, and other such major events were orchestrated by the aliens in order to distract the American people. We also meet Henry Kissinger, Nixon's Secretary of State, who happens to be an alien reptile. Yup, in the very last episode they decide to throw in this other alien race who is on Earth for some reason. And this totally made me think of the 1983 miniseries V, in which reptile aliens disguised as humans take over the Earth.
I don't know.
3 years earlier, former President Ike Eisenhower is on his deathbed lamenting the deal he made with the aliens. He also knows the presence of this second alien species because it turns out one of the humans Thor abducted was one of these reptilian creatures, and it's never really mentioned how Ike knows about this. Mamie, on the other hand, can't seem to stop thinking about ED Day, Evacuation Day, not Erectile Dysfunction Day. Like she says, it's the day when British troops evacuated Boston during the American Revolutionary War. Thor arrives and tells Eisenhower that he need not die. He could be taken to Area 51 where the alien tech could keep him alive. This is why we see Calico, who was abducted in the 60s, hasn't aged a day. Ike tells Thor and Mamie that they deserve each other, which is a slight jab at them considering they made sweet, passionate robot love a few episodes ago. Mamie doesn't want to die like her husband, nor does she want Nixon blabbing about the alien presence. So Mamie becomes Deep Throat, the secret informant who leaked to journalist Bob Woodward that Nixon was wiretapping the offices of the Democratic National Committee. In the show, Nixon had asked Gordon Liddy to wiretap it, believing it was the office of Valiant Thor in an attempt to expose the alien presence. And to make sure Nixon no longer is a problem, they have him abducted and anal probed until he resigns. In 1979, Mamie is brought to Area 51 to live out the rest of her life, which I guess is eternity? I don't really know, they never mention exactly how long they can prolong life. We hear on the radio that Mamie supposedly died of heart failure. Calico and Mamie instantly become best friends, and we fast forward to present day right after the deadly events of episode 9 in which Cal was sucked to death by his alien baby. I don't know about you, but getting sucked to death doesn't seem that bad. A special task force has been brought in to investigate, and when they come across the dead alien body, Theta remarks that she hasn't seen a hybrid anomaly like this in at least 2 cycles. It has somehow regressed, but it's never brought up why. Kendall and Jamie end up finding their friends Cal and Troy dead in the moon landing room, and you'd think this room, which contains super top secret information, would at least have a lock on it or something. Theta uses her Jedi mind powers to knock out the two, who then wake up ready to give birth. The last hybrid to be born there was the closest they've come to perfection, and Theta thinks one of their babies could be that perfect hybrid Thor mentioned some 50 years earlier. Jamie's baby isn't quite up to snuff, and both she and the baby are killed. Kendall, on the other hand, delivers the perfect specimen. The baby is quickly whisked away, and Kendall's head severed off, only to be replaced by this giant metal sphere. They'll keep using her body over and over again as a vessel for producing these hybrids. Later on, Theta will explain how Kendall will go on to deliver a new baby once every hour. With the news that the aliens have produced a perfect specimen reaching Mamie, she asks Thor what's next. The plan is to completely populate the world with these hybrids while simultaneously eliminating the human race. Mamie, of course, will be spared, and along with her husband Ike, will be revered as heroes among the aliens for ushering in this new world World Order. Thor and the aliens justify their takeover by telling Mamie that humanity has destroyed the planet. He uses a rose garden analogy, that the planet is like a rose garden and we're the gardener that's killing all the roses. Mamie tells him she knows about the other reptilian species hiding on Earth, but as we see Thor and Reptile Kissinger in this scene, they've already made an agreement to live together in peace. These reptiles have, quote, qualities and tech that could prove useful to them. Mamie doesn't really like this plan and asks to see this hybrid she was so integral in helping create. She wants Theta to join her and Calico in killing both the baby and Kendall's body to set back the aliens. And I'm not sure why she thinks Theta would join her. This woman has spent the last 60 plus years trying to create this hybrid. I don't think she's gonna have a change of heart now. I mean, the woman literally kills babies for a living. In fact, it seems as though Theta leads Mamie on into believing she's on her side, because just as Mamie is about to kill the hybrid, Theta stops her. Theta tells Mamie that the greatest shame is the human part of her, and that she won't help humanity, humanity who has destroyed this planet. With these hybrids at the helm, they can restore balance. Theta explodes Mamie's head, just like possessed Maria did a few episodes ago, and Calico is spared so that she can become a sort of mother/nanny to the future hybrids. It makes sense since Calico has given birth to dozens of children over the years, all of whom were killed and she never got to raise. And the season ends with a new perfect specimen delivered from Kendall's body. I hated this ending on so many levels. I guess the first thing I'd say is that it was utterly anticlimactic. Part of this feeling stems from the fact I really didn't care about any of the characters. The writers made the conscious decision to introduce characters like Cal, Kendall, Troy, and Jamie as entitled brats, which made me instantly hate them since the beginning of episode 7. Mamie is only concerned about her stupid holidays, and Calico has resigned herself to a life of breeding. At this point, I really didn't care if the aliens took over. The second overall criticism of the season is that there was little to no connection between the two parts of Double Feature, nor to the AHS franchise as a whole. Now, if the creators came out and said, look, these are two completely separate seasons within a season, I'd be able to manage my expectations. But the marketing for this season heavily played up this idea that the aliens and Pale Ones are somehow connected. But arguably my biggest criticism is the unrealized potential this season had. The first 5 episodes of Red Tide I thought was some of the best AHS ever written. Red Tide could have easily been the whole season, and there was so much there that could have been explored. They were in Provincetown where the Mayflower landed, and they never had a flashback to that time period. What was the backstory behind the chemist? What happened to the townsfolk who willingly kept the murders in their town under wraps to keep up tourism? Should I even bring up Lyme disease? It just seemed like every bad person in the season got away with it with little to no repercussions. And look, I don't mind a bad person getting away with something. There are tons of anti-hero movies and shows out there. I at least need to be invested in what they're doing. So those are my really brief macro notes, and if I have time, I hope to come out with a huge dissection of all the plot holes and shit that didn't make sense throughout the entire season. You'll want to stick around for that dumpster fire. Thanks for watching, everyone. Be sure to like and subscribe, and for more bad takes, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at ThinkStoryYT. Until next time, remember, Daddy loves you very much.